To thumb or not to thumb? That is the question. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Jarek Defiler the Patient Gamer here. I was looking through some of my past Steam reviews to see if my mind has changed on any prior titles, as sometimes it does and I might change my review. I have various thumbs ups and downs spanning over years, and it's fun to see how my gaming philosophy has matured in that time. But upon reminiscing about such fun or unfun titles, this got me thinking. I personally put a lot of stock into Steam's user reviews. I don't really give two craps about what professional critics or games journalists have to say on any given game on any given day. A lot of them are simply just part of the corrupt access media, meaning they will generally give positively skewed reviews in order to retain their access to review copies and invites to the cocktail parties, while others are, quite frankly, activists rather than actual journalists or critics attempting an impartial and unbiased review. Nay, they are the ones speaking ill of Korean titles because the developers dare to have a, let's say, less than body positive female character. Or they will attack some developers for not having enough black and Hispanic people in their video game based in the medieval kingdom of Bohemia. Because we all know how diverse the precursor to the Czech Republic was back in the 15th century, am I right? Bigots. And most of those so-called journalists aren't even gamers to begin with. So all those opinions and the mouths from which they came can suck a big fat horse conga line out in whatever foaming at the mouth holier than thou commune they create in the center of Seattle, which collapses in on itself within the first 6 weeks. Me, I prefer the opinions of gamers, true gamers, people that live out their lives, work their 40 or 60 hours a week, and then spend their hard-earned cash on one of the hobbies that they so love, the video games. So this brings me back to Steam reviews and their importance to us all. For what better way to gauge if you wish to purchase a game than to read the words of one who's put in their due diligence, as well as their money, rather than someone who is paid or granted free access to said game. But that doesn't mean it's all sunshine and rainbows and unicorn farts, for Steam user reviews can also succumb to bias, subjectivity, or simply agenda, and that's what I want to discuss here. In my Steam reviews, I try to be as honest and open-minded as I can. Unbiased thinking is virtually impossible, so I somewhat throw that out the window, but in return I attempt to wear my biases on my sleeve for all the world to see. But what I do find frustrating is that I will often see many Steam user reviews that will thumbs down a game simply because they didn't like it. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's the whole point, stupid. If you don't like it, why would you thumbs up? And my response to that is, yes, that's true to a certain degree, and I'm guilty of it as well, but ultimately the rating system on Steam is about if you would recommend a game, not necessarily if you like it. Although I wouldn't say rating based on your like or dislike is completely wrong, just oftentimes it's a bit on the nose. They tend to focus on just what they hate rather than what is objectively good or bad about the game. I have quite a few reviews on Steam that I don't recommend even when I enjoyed the game, be it due to technical issues, poor mechanics that I was able to slog through, or otherwise. And so it brings up the question of what is the best way to write and or read a Steam review. Well, in my humble opinion, I find it most beneficial to the Steam user base and even the PC gaming community as a whole given the size of Steam's reach, to put the crux of one Steam review in the proper context. I think that most gamers are appreciative of those that are transparent about their biases from the get-go. If you don't like a game, great, be open about that, letting the reader know up front that they can read over your review with that bias in mind. But most importantly, be honest about the quality of the game. If you thumbs down because you don't like the game, be upfront about that, but acknowledge the game's positive traits as well. Very few games are 100% negative. For instance, I thumbed down Factorio. I know, a travesty, I am Satan incarnate, burn me at the stake and all that, but I was very honest about why I thumbed it down. I explained that the game doesn't appeal to me because it feels more like a job and an engineer's spreadsheet wet dream rather than a game. It doesn't have the atmospheric or casual appeal like, say, Satisfactory. So my thumbs down was a way to warn people that may have a similar taste or outlook to mine. That said, I also explained how the game is a good game. A great game even. It ran well, the mechanics are solid, the theme is great, and most importantly, it felt like it succeeded in the vision of the developers. But I still didn't like it, and given that everybody and their mother worships that game, I felt that I needed to be a bit more strict in the review, resulting in the thumbs down. But to be honest, if Steam had a much needed side thumb option, I would have given Factorio that instead, because my review was very much a neutral review. On the flip side of the coin, we have Valheim. I enjoyed the hell out of Valheim. I have over 200 hours clocked on that bad boy. But it has a lot of things that I think are not great and were mostly fixed through modding, such as the stamina issues, and I can't judge a game based on its mods. Also, Valheim had horrendous performance for me and my crew. Once our base got to a certain size, we were looking at 7 to 15 frames per second while in base, unfortunately. That's inexcusable, and our rigs weren't anything to sneer at back then either. We tried public servers, other people's servers, dedicated servers on our own, local servers, and no matter what we did, our frame rate would just go to complete crap once our base got big, or if we terraformed the land a lot. So thumbs down it had to be, but this was a while ago, so maybe they fixed a lot of those issues now. I might have to go back and check sometime, but my point still stands. As much as I enjoyed Valheim, I couldn't bring myself to give it a thumbs up due to the glaring issues we had. And many people will shout shame and curse me for giving thumbs down to a game that I have hundreds of hours in, but if we aren't honest with our reviews, then what's the point? Just because you enjoy a game doesn't mean it's worth playing in its current state. And likewise, just because you don't enjoy a game doesn't mean it's worth shitting on in your review. Open minds and stoic hearts, I say. Let your readers know that you went into your review with good intentions and an attempt to be transparent about your philosophy. This way, we won't be buried under a mountain of shitposts that we often see when some games get review bombed, even if they deserve it. And for the love of Filipino karaoke, Valve, please give us a neutral side thumb option for reviews. We need it. Anyways, this has been Jarek Defiler, ranting about Steam reviews. Hope you guys got something out of this, and maybe we can all move in a direction where we're looking out for each other on Steam rather than just trolling or venting. But what is a gamer without the occasional troll post? So conflicted. But I digress. Steam reviews, ladies and gents. Keep them transparent, keep them honest, keep them sexy, and always enable the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you agree, and check out my other patient gaming videos. You all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are. And Steam on, wah.